Hi, and welcome to a brand new video. So today we're going to be tackling the problem on the screen where we have an N-ary tree and we need to return the level order traversal of its node values. So first, in order to understand this, let's take a look at the node.java class. So as you can see here, instead of having just like a set dot left or dot right, we have the list node children, which basically means it can have as many children as it wants and because it's a list. And all we need to do is iterate through that list that we'll be talking about later. So my level order traversal, what that is that you print all the values inside each level. So as you can see here, one's in the first level, these three are in the second level, and and 6 are in the third level. So in order to do this, we're going to use a recursive function, and it's actually pretty straightforward. We just need to do private void recursive, and here we're going to be taking in two parameters. We're going to first take in the node, and we're also going to take in the level. And the level here will tell us which level it's at so that we can add the node to the right level. We're also going to create a global variable, and this is going to be what we're going to be returning at the end, our list integer. You can also create a map, but that takes more lines of code, and we want to keep our code nice and condensed. And you take up more space because you have to create two variables instead of one. So let's try it with the list. So we're going to create a private list integer. I'm just going to call it answer. And right here, we're going to say answer is equal to, new array list. And then we're also going to just set a base case saying that if root is equal to null, return ends. And that's just in case, that's just removes that base case from our recursive function. And then lastly, we need to call recursive with the root and 0. And and the reason we do 0 is because we refer each, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a list for each level, and we're going to store it at the index of the level number. So that means we can basically just do ans.get level in order to get the list at that level. So that's why we start with 0 because lists have 0 base indexing. And then we're just going to return answer. So this is it for our level order, but let's go into the recursive function. So there's actually, when we go in here, there's two cases. A, we already have a list there. So the first scenario is that we already have a list for level. And then the second scenario is that we don't have a list for level. So in order to see which scenarios which, we're just going to create an if statement and say if ans.size is greater than level. That means that level has already there's already an index for level. So that means that this is scenario 1, else, and I'll just move this if statement right here. We don't have a list for level. So if we already have a index, what we're going to do is we're going to say ans.get, and we're just going to get that level, and we're just going to add root.val because it is an object. So even though you're changing the array list, you're not changing the reference. So therefore, you don't have to do like a replace or anything. All you need to do is add it. And then otherwise, we need to create it. So I'm just going to, we need to create first a blank array list, add the current node to that array list, and then add this to ans. So we're gonna have to add this at the index of level, so that's why you do level comma blank. And this function allows you to set the value at a specific index. So right here we're setting it at level. And all I need to do now is run this code. And oh, because it didn't create a main function, this is from our previous problem, but this would be the answer to this question. And one last thing I wanted to address before we end. The reason that we use, if you wanted to use, let's say, a map, what you'd want to do is you'd want to say if map.contains key here, and also before you return, you're going to have to convert that map to a list. But hopefully this helps you find a solution to the n level order problem. See you in the next video.